Ladies and gentlemen, are you guys ready to make some noise? Because our fourth storyteller, Heather Laptalo, give it up for Heather!
I was one of those special kids. You know those kids with all kinds of medical problems? Yeah, that was me. Doctors often use the word deformed to describe me. I had a severe case of scoliosis and kyphosis, which basically means my spine was growing in every direction but the right one. But I pretended like I was a normal, healthy kid. I had a real love for soccer, and I spent my days sprinting up and down the field. At night, my parents used to strap me in this massive body brace that twisted my spine in the opposite direction it was growing. Unfortunately, my spine just kept getting worse, and at age 13, I had my first spinal fusion. I had multiple surgeries. When I was 19, I finally had my last one. The 6 years in between, I continued to pretend like I was a normal, healthy kid, playing soccer, running around, doing my thing. But I never spent a day without pain. And going into that last surgery, I had high hopes that I'd come out better, stronger, and pain-free. I remember my first doctor's appointment after that surgery. I struggled to walk and make my way into the exam room. My doctor came in shortly behind me, and he slapped my x-ray on the light box, where I could see the 4 rods that extended down 85% of my spine. He smiled as he looked at his good work and adjusted his tie and his pants, and I anxiously asked, "When is the pain gonna go away? When can I start running and playing soccer again?" His smile quickly faded as he turned and looked at me and shook his head. "You are 20% disabled. You are missing 40% of your lung capacity. You will never be pain-free. You will never play soccer. You will never run or ski or be in high altitude." The list of nevers went on and on and on. And I couldn't really hear much more of the conversation because all I could hear was the sound of my heart breaking. I never skied or been in high altitude before, so I didn't really care about those nevers. But never run and play soccer? I was so angry that he believed I was incapable of these things. And I thought, I'll show him. I'll be running and playing soccer in no time. But at the same time, a simple walk to the restroom was exhausting and just overwhelming. If you've ever run a marathon, you know what it's like to hit the wall, and I hit it every single day. It's when 1 minute you feel like you can conquer the world, but then the next, you're exhausted. Your arms and legs become stiff, and it takes every ounce of energy to put one foot in front of the other, and a voice inside your head says, "You can't go on. This is it. You're done." But if you listen closely, there's a tiny little voice that says, "You got this." And I kept listening to that one, and I just started walking, a little faster and a little further each day. 6 months after my surgery, I was finally able to walk a mile. It took me a year before I could walk 4, and I finally asked my doctor again, "When can I run?" He just shook his head and said, "Well, you can try in 3 months." So I did. I went to the nearest track. I was able to run 200 meters. It was so hard, and I wondered, will I ever be able to run? Were my doctors right? Nah, you got this. I kept running a little further and a little faster each day, until finally I was able to run lap after lap. But then one day, a man stopped me in my tracks and asked me who I ran for. He had been watching me day after day, which would have been a little bit creepy if he weren't a D1 university cross-country coach. Before I knew it, I was attending a university on a full-ride scholarship for running. A few years later, I packed my bags and I drove from California to Portland for a job. The drive was beautiful. There were so many magnificent mountains, and all I could think was, what is it like to stand on one of those? Unfortunately, I'll never know. I can't be in altitude with this body. Or can I? He was wrong about running, so maybe I can. So I decided I'd climb St. Helens. I remember the trek up and just thinking, oh my God, it is so hard to breathe. I can't do this. nah, you got this. And I did. I made my way to the top, just above 8,000 feet. I felt an overwhelming sense of calm and joy, and all I did was crave more. So I started climbing mountains, peak after peak. I summited Mount Rainier and a couple other 14ers, and I started wondering, how high can I go? So last winter, I went to Nepal and climbed just above 18,000 feet. This last spring, I decided to go back and climb St. Helens, but this time on skis. I started learning how to ski 4 months ago, and when I made it to the top, I just remember the stoke was so high. I'm like, I cannot believe I'm here and I'm on skis. And I was the first one from my group to the top. And I remember looking down, watching my friends make their way up my path, and all I could think was, oh God, now I gotta ski down this? Can I really do this? Yeah, you got this.